Freedom, back then, it had a smell. Hot asphalt baking under a setting sun, the tang of gasoline mingling with the sweet vinyl of a car seat warmed by the day. It smelled like possibility, like belonging. And it rolled on four wheels, straight down Main Street. My name's Walt. Walter Jennings, if you want the whole handle. But back then, in Ashland, that speck of a town clinging to Route 66, I was just Walt, driver of the slightly dented but fiercely loved 65 Ford Galaxy 500 we called the Silver Ghost. And every Friday and Saturday night, like clockwork set by some unwritten law of the universe, Main Street became our world. Not just mine, mind you. It belonged to Mikey in his jacked-up Chevy pickup, Susie Q in her bright yellow VW Bug, the Henderson twins sharing their dad's immaculate Oldsmobile Cutlass. It belonged to anyone under 25 with a driver's license, a few quarters for gas, and a heart full of that restless, hopeful energy that only youth seems to brew. It wasn't about going anywhere specific. That was the magic of it. The destination was the journey itself, a slow, looping pilgrimage from the dairy freeze at the north end, past the hardware store with its creaking sign, Bud's Diner, glowing like a beacon of fries and gossip, the dimly lit movie theater marquee, down to the railroad tracks marking the south boundary, and then you just turned around and did it again, and again, for hours. The engine's low thrum was our heartbeat, the radio, crackling through an 8-track or fighting the AM static, was our soundtrack. The Eagles crooning about peace and easy feelings, Fleetwood Mac weaving tales of dreams and heartache, maybe some CCR pounding out the rhythm of the open road. It filled the car, spilled out the windows, became the shared anthem of the night. You'd see someone you knew, a flash of familiar hair, a distinctive tail fin, a quick tap on the horn. Beep, beep. Maybe pull alongside at the next red light. Though red lights in Ashland were more suggestions than rules after 8 p.m. Windows rolled down. Hey, Walt, heard you finally got that carburetor sorted? Took me all Saturday, Bobby, but she purrs like a kitten now. Heading down to Bud's later? Wouldn't miss it. Save me a stool. Just connection. Simple as that. No texts, no notifications. Just eyes meeting, voices calling out into the warm night air. You knew everyone, or you got to know them. That kid with the Plymouth Barracuda? That was Jimmy Novak, worked down at the Sinclair station. He'd patch your tire for free if he caught you looking worried on the side of the road. The girl in the blue Mustang convertible? That was Linda Carter, who could sing harmonies with Stevie Nicks and had a laugh that could cut through engine noise. Main Street, on cruise night, was a rolling family reunion of the young and restless. There was a rhythm to it, a slow dance. You'd cruise a few loops, maybe park for a while under the big elm tree near the courthouse lawn. Engine off, just listening to the symphony of other motors, the bursts of laughter, the snippets of conversation drifting by. Someone would wander over. Heard Cheryl broke up with Dan? News traveled faster than any of our cars. You'd share a Coke, maybe pass around a bag of fries, snagged from Bud's. Plans were hatched for the drive-in movie tomorrow. Commiserations offered over failed algebra tests. Dreams whispered about getting out of Ashland. Or, maybe surprisingly, staying put and taking over the family business. It wasn't always smooth sailing, mind you. Remember Bobby? Bobby Miller? Drove that temperamental 68 Firebird? One humid July night, halfway through the loop, the Firebird just sighed, gave up the ghost, right outside the Five and Dime, steam billowing like a locomotive. Bobby was mortified. But what happened next? Within minutes, 3 cars pulled over. Jimmy Novak popped the hood like a doctor assessing a patient. Mikey had jumper cables. Susie Q ran to the payphone to call Bobby's dad. No cell phones to save us then. Me? I fetched water from the fountain outside the barber shop. We pushed that sulking Firebird into Bud's parking lot. Jimmy tinkered. Mikey held the flashlight. The rest of us offered advice, mostly useless, and moral support. By the time Bobby's dad showed up with a tow chain, Jimmy had it diagnosed, a busted radiator hose. It wasn't fixed that night, but Bobby wasn't stranded. He was surrounded. That's what Main Street did. It turned breakdowns into bonding. The cars. Oh, the cars. They weren't just transportation. They were extensions of ourselves, rolling declarations. Some were polished chrome and gleaming paint, labored over every weekend. Others wore their dings and faded finishes like badges of honor, testaments to hard use and youthful exuberance. You learned their quirks. The Galaxy's tendency to pull slightly to the right if you didn't keep a firm hand. The particular whine of the Firebird's transmission when it was cold. You learned responsibility too. Gas wasn't free. Oil needed changing. A flat tire on a lonely stretch taught you self-reliance, or at least how to flag down help. There was pride in keeping your ride running. Pride in the rumble of your own engine joining the chorus of the night. And the girls. The girls would walk down the sidewalks, in pairs or small groups, pretending not to notice the parade of cars, but you could see the sideways glances, the suppressed smiles. Sometimes, courage gathered, you'd pull over, lean out the window. "Hey, Susie Q, need a lift?" Maybe she'd laugh, toss her hair, and hop in for a loop or two, the radio suddenly playing louder. Maybe she'd just smile and keep walking, leaving you with a story to tell your buddies at the next stoplight. It was innocent, mostly. A dance of glances and possibilities, set to the rhythm of the cruise. As the night deepened, the character of the cruise shifted. The younger kids, the ones just starting out in hand-me-down sedans, might peel off earlier. The core group remained, the diehards. The air grew cooler, the conversation sometimes quieter, more reflective. Dreams felt bigger under the stars you could actually see back then. Fears felt smaller, shared in the comfortable darkness of the car. The engine, a steady companion. You talked about Vietnam, the shadow it cast, the names of older brothers or cousins who'd gone. You talked about Nixon, Watergate, things that felt huge and confusing on the evening news, but somehow manageable when dissected leaning against your car fender with friends who felt like family. You talked about the future, college, jobs, the terrifying, exhilarating prospect of real adulthood just around the bend. And then it would wind down, like a record reaching its end groove. The loops became fewer. Cars would peel off one by one, headlights turning down side streets towards home, taillights winking out like dying embers. "See you tomorrow, Walt." "Don't do anything I wouldn't do, Mikey." "Save me a seat at the game, Bobby." Promises flung into the night. You'd make that last loop alone, or maybe with your best riding buddy silent beside you. The street would grow quieter, emptier. You'd pull into your driveway, cut the engine. The sudden silence was profound. You'd sit for a moment in the dark, the smell of the night, cut grass, distant honeysuckle, exhaust, filling the car. The radio might still be whispering the final song. You'd feel spent, but full, connected, part of something that felt timeless. That ritual, that slow roll down Main Street. It didn't last forever. Nothing golden does. Times changed. Gas got expensive. Cruising got banned in some towns deemed too rowdy. The endless loops seen as a nuisance. People moved away. Responsibilities piled on. Jobs, marriages, babies, mortgages. The Silver Ghost eventually gave way to a sensible station wagon. The Friday night call of Main Street faded, replaced by other demands. But here's the thing I learned. Sitting here on this porch, watching my grandson fuss over that old car, the freedom we felt wasn't just about the open road or the horsepower. It was about the space. The space we carved out for ourselves, away from parents, teachers, expectations. It was about the tribe we built, rolling side by side under the same streetlights. We learned to navigate not just the streets, but each other. We learned loyalty on the side of the road with a busted hose. We learned courage asking for that first ride. We learned patience in the endless loops. We learned community in the shared wave, the shared song, the shared bag of fries. Those bonds forged in the warm nights of Ashland's Main Street. Some of them held. Mikey's my next-door neighbor now. We still talk about carburetors, though now it's over the fence, not an open window. Susie Q? She married Bobby, can you believe it? Runs the town library. Jimmy Novak kept the Sinclair station going until he retired. We lost touch with some, of course. Life scatters people like leaves in the wind. But the feeling of that connection, that sense of belonging to that specific time and place and tribe, that never really left. It became part of the foundation. So when you see a classic car rumble by, or hear an old Eagles song on the radio, or catch the scent of gasoline on a summer evening, don't just remember the car. Remember the faces in the other lanes. Remember the laughter echoing off the brick storefronts. Remember the feeling of belonging to something bigger than yourself. Just for a little while, rolling slow under the stars. Remember the simple, profound freedom of going nowhere special together. They called it cruising. But really, it was coming home. To ourselves. To each other. Long before we ever knew we needed one. What roads did you call home? Share your stories below.